All right, today we're going to unpack a really powerful story from the Pali Canon. It's a classic tale of terror, but also of incredible transformation. And it all boils down to this one huge question. Can the most violent person alive actually be redeemed? The story revolves around a man whose very name was enough to make people tremble with fear.
Okay, let's set the scene. We're in the ancient kingdom of Kosola, and there's this notorious bandit on the loose. His name? Aṅgulimāla.
Yeah, his name, it literally translates to finger garland. And trust me, he earned that name in the most gruesome way you can possibly imagine.
The scriptures describe him as just completely ruthless, blood-stained hands, merciless to all living beings. He laid waste to the entire countryside, turning thriving villages and towns into ghost towns.
His reign of terror was so complete that even large groups of armed men, we're talking 40 or 50 guys at a time, were too terrified to even travel on the roads he haunted.
So you've got this terrifying killer that no one dares to cross. And then one morning, the Buddha gets up, grabs his bowl and robe, and starts walking straight down the very road where Aṅgulimāla was known to be.
You can just imagine the scene. Cowherds, shepherds, farmers, they all see him and rush to warn him. "Don't go that way, monk. He'll kill you." They told him that entire groups of armed men had been slaughtered on that road. But the Buddha, he just stayed silent and kept on walking.
And this is the moment everything changes. Aṅgulimāla spots the lone monk walking towards him. And of course, his first and only thought is, I'm going to kill him. But then, something truly bizarre happens. Aṅgulimāla starts running after him with all his might. Now this is a guy who could supposedly chase down a speeding chariot, and yet he can't catch up to the Buddha, who is just walking at a normal pace.
He's completely exhausted, totally bewildered by this. He can't believe it. Finally, he just screams out, "Stop, monk, stop!" And the Buddha's reply, wow. It's this incredible paradox that just completely shatters Aṅgulimāla's world. The Buddha says, I have stopped, Aṅgulimāla. You stop. Think about that. How can a man who is clearly walking say that he's already stopped?
So the Buddha explains what he means by stopping. He says, I have stopped harming all living beings. For good, I've laid down violence. But you're completely unrestrained. So that's why I have stopped and you haven't.
And those words, they just hit him like a lightning bolt. In that moment, everything he thought he knew, his whole violent worldview just completely crumbled.
It was an instant transformation. Right then and there, he throws his sword and weapons down a cliff. He bows at the Buddha's feet and asks to join the monastic order. And the Buddha accepts him with the simple words, "Come, bhikkhu."
So a little while later, the king of Kosala himself, King Pasenadi, shows up with a whole army ready to hunt down this monster. And you can imagine his shock when he finds Aṅgulimāla not as a killer, but as a calm, shaven-headed monk in saffron robes, just sitting peacefully near the Buddha.
The king was just floored. He says to the Buddha, "What we couldn't tame with all our force and all our swords, you've done without any force at all." He was just astounded that the untamable had been tamed.
But here's the thing. Aṅgulimāla's past couldn't just be erased. His transformation was real. But now, as a monk, he had to face the consequences of his actions. He had to pay that old debt.
So when he would go into villages for alms, people would recognize him. And remembering the terror he caused, they'd attack him. They'd throw stones and sticks at him. He'd come back to the Buddha with his head split open, bleeding, his robe torn to shreds, just paying a tiny fraction of the karmic price for what he'd done. And the Buddha's advice was simple: endure it. He explained that the suffering he was facing right now, it was nothing compared to the eons of torment his karma could have brought him in a lower realm.
But his transformation wasn't just about enduring pain. It also gave him this incredible power to heal. One day, he came across a woman who was in the middle of a very difficult, dangerous childbirth.
The Buddha told him to perform what's known as an act of truth. Aṅgulimāla went to the woman and said, "Sister, since I was born with the noble birth," meaning since he became a monk, "I don't recall intentionally harming a single living being. By this truth, may you and your baby be safe." And just like that, the mother and child were both safe and sound.
So he kept practicing diligently, enduring his past karma and developing his mind. And eventually, Aṅgulimāla did it. He became an arahant, a fully enlightened being.
He even left behind his own collection of verses, kind of like a song of his transformation. And in it, he says something beautiful. One whose evil karma is covered over by wholesome action illuminates this world like the moon breaking free from a cloud. It's this powerful idea that even the darkest past can be overcome.
So, this incredible story really leaves us with a question to ponder. If the most violent, brutal actions can be met with compassion, and if a life of pure evil can be totally transformed by a single moment of insight, what does that say about the potential that lies inside every single one of us?